AI is not going to replace you as a family photographer. Your creativity, your connection with the kids that you work with, the way you make a nervous mom feel comfortable in front of the camera, AI cannot do that. It's not going to do that. But writing your SOPs, drafting that gallery delivery email, building out your client prep workflow, that is exactly what AI tools should be used for. And I want to show you exactly how you can merge some AI tools into your family photography business without being so afraid of it. And I want to show you what this all looks like in good practice. So think about the last time a new client inquiry landed in your inbox. You're probably in the middle of something else. Editing a gallery, making lunch, chasing one of your kids around the house, just doing something, you are lifing. And then all of a sudden, a notification email popped up. And instead of responding, you froze. Not because you didn't want to respond to it, but because it came in the middle of you living life. And you were like, okay, how do I respond to this? What did I say last time? How should I be consistent? What am I supposed to ask them? Is there a form that I'm supposed to send again? I forget. Do I mention pricing in this first email? I don't really know. And then maybe instead of having an SOP that you rely on, you just decide to wing it because that's what you always do again and again and again. And this happens time after time and time again. And then you realize, why are my bookings so inconsistent? That sounds familiar. I want you to know that you're absolutely not alone in this experience. That is what happens when you decide to run your family photography business without documented SOPs or documented workflows. You are choosing to make the same decision over and over and over from scratch each time. And that is absolutely exhausting and that's unnecessary. So that's what I want to talk to you about today because this is something I don't hear enough people teaching in the family photography education space. AI can actually help you write out your SOPs and workflows from scratch, even if you've never written them out before in your life. Now, this video is not going to be like AI will change everything for your life kind of way type of video. It's not very vague. It's very specific. I want to give you 5 real AI prompts that you can use today to start building out the backend systems that your family photography business needs. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what each one is for, why it matters, and what to do with the draft once AI gives it to you. Before we begin, hi, my name is Dolly DeLong. I am a Nashville-based family and motherhood photographer, and I also am a systems-driven marketing educator for other family photographers. I love teaching other family photographers about the importance of systems, workflows, SOPs, and how it all plays into the back-end business operations, how you run your business, and also how you show up in marketing. I love coming every single Friday with a brand new video, and I love simplifying systems. And I'm so glad you're here. So let's dive into the topic of AI for your family photography business. Now, before I give you these 5 prompts, I just want to take a minute to define what we're actually talking about when I say SOP, okay? So I know SOP can sound like corporate jargon. It absolutely does. And if you are a solo family photographer, you might be thinking, Dolly, that's for businesses and bigger teams. I am literally just a one person show over here. And I hear you, but I'm going to push back on that and that way of thinking because you really do need to have some sort of integration of SOPs and workflows into your business. And no, it doesn't have to be all corporate-y and jargony. All right. So an SOP stands for a standard operating procedure. It's simply just a documented step-by-step process for how you handle something in your business. It is literally the written version of the thing you already do in your head every single time a client books with you, every single time you deliver a gallery, every single time you do a follow-up from a session. I will take a big guess at this. Right now, those processes probably live entirely in your brain, which means every time you do them, you're starting from scratch essentially. Yes, there's a process, but it's in your brain. It's not processed out in a document anywhere. So you're starting from scratch every single time. You are taxing your mental energy to remember those steps. You're probably skipping steps when you're super busy, when it's busy season, when you're stressed, or if you ever get sick, or if you ever want to hand it off to, let's say, a virtual assistant or to anyone, you have nothing to show them. It's all in your head. And because you've never actually written them out, you're probably really missing out on some key elements that make this SOP you. So an SOP isn't just a corporate document, okay? It's a gift that you are literally giving your business and your future business and any assistants you may have or any virtual assistants you may have. And even if you stay solo, that's fine. You still should define what these SOPs are. And this is where AI becomes genuinely very useful for family photographers who are not naturally systems driven. And so you'll see how helpful this is going to be. So here's the mindset shift I want you to make before we go any further in this video or podcast. AI is your first drafter. It is not your final voice. So don't copy paste everything directly from AI. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to take what AI gives you and post it directly into your CRM, like Dubsado, for example, or hand it to a client. Don't do that. You are going to use AI to get something out of your head and onto a page, and in the fraction of the time it would take you to actually type it out yourself or think through these things yourself. It's going to help you create that first draft. And then you're going to review it with your actual brain and your eyes, adjust it, make it sound like you, and put it to work. Then it is a workflow in itself, and it's going to be a really good one. Okay, so let's dive into these 5 specific SOPs that I want every single family photographer to have. And I'm going to give you some AI prompts to use for each one to get your creative juices flowing. So SOP number 1 is your client inquiry response SOP. This is the one I commonly see a lot of family photographers handle completely inconsistently. That's why I've created the video training, how to create a client inquiry process that wows, or how to create a contact form that wows. You can get that free training below. I will link it below. But this is where a lot of inconsistency is in the contact form. Someone fills out your inquiry form, and depending on the day, how tired you are, or whether or not your kid's napped, or whether or not you have like an editing queue out the wazoo, they might, meaning the inquiry, might get a warm, detailed, beautiful response, or they might get a rushed 2-sentence reply that accidentally makes you sound like you don't want their business, or you are so rushed, you make absolutely no sense, or you type it out on your phone. Don't do that. Your inquiry response is your first impression. It sets the tone for that client relationship, that potential client relationship. It should be the same good quality every single time, consistent quality. That means you really need to have a documented process and a template to go with it. So here is the AI prompt that I want you to try. So open up Claude, open up ChatGPT, or whatever tool you are already using, and type this in, all right? I'm going to read this to you. I am a family photographer in insert your city. When a new inquiry comes in from my contact form, I need help writing out a step-by-step process for how I should respond within the first 24 to 48 hours. My goal is to make the family feel like whatever your tone is. For me, it would be warm, welcomed, and confident that they've found the right photographer before we even begin talking about pricing. Please write this as a numbered SOP and then write a sample inquiry response email I can use as a starting template. For me, it is warm, personal, and genuine, not corporate. My sessions are, and then list your sessions in the prompt. So what you are going to get back is a detailed list of steps, or I should say a numbered list of steps. Check inquiry, review their details, personalize your response or your reply with something specific they mentioned. Make sure you use their name, include a link to your pricing guide, include a link to your calendar, suggest a call or whatever your next steps are. And then you'll get a sample that goes alongside it. Now, your job after AI drafts this for you, it's not to copy paste it. Don't do that. Go through it and add the details that make it your personality. You can add, you can subtract to it Add specific questions that you like to ask every single new inquiry. Add the line about your turnaround time if that's something that is important to you. Make the email sound like you, that you actually wrote it, because you're going to be the one whose name is at the bottom of this email. So this SOP alone will save you the mental energy every single week of knowing how to respond to and that way, once you have this template out, you can save it as a draft in your inbox. So every time somebody sends you an inquiry form, you can copy paste that template and then personalize it with their name and whatever information, or you can even create it in a canned email. I have blog posts about canned emails. I have previous podcast episodes about canned emails. So I will be sure to link those resources below. So SOP number 2, your session prep and day of workflow. We're going to cover that in an AI prompt. So this is the SOP that keeps things from falling apart on the day of the session. And it is the one that most photographers skip because, again, it's all living in your head and you feel like you already know what you do. You're the expert after all. You know your routine. But here is what I've discovered even in my own family photography business. The days that I skip reviewing my own documented processes are the days I forget something. It always happens like that. Always. But versus the days that I decide to show up, like for example, the days I decide to not look over my documented process, I realize I didn't send the location pin, or I forgot to get the client's information on my desktop on my computer before I drove to the location that doesn't have internet access, okay? Or I didn't confirm the time with the family, or I forgot to charge a battery. This SOP has like 2 different parts to it. I see it as what you do before your session, what you do the day of your session. AI can help you draft both parts, okay? Here's a prompt I'm going to read to you, all right? I am a family photographer and I need help crafting and creating a 2-part session prep SOP. Part 1 should be everything I need to do 48 to 72 hours before a session, what I need to send to clients, what to confirm, what gear to check, and any business admin tasks I need to complete. Part 2 should be a day of workflow. What I do the morning of the session from when I wake up until I arrive on the location. I would also do an additional brain dump to let these AI prompt know any other steps that you know for sure you want to be included in this 2-part SOP. And the prompt with, please format this as a 2-numbered checklist, because remember, this is a 2-part SOP. This is going to give you a really solid draft that you can then personalize with your specific gear list, your particular client communication steps, and any prep that is specific to the type of sessions you shoot. If you specialize in newborn sessions, for example, your day of prep looks very different from an outdoor family session at golden hour, for example. Always make sure you tell AI your context and it will adjust. There is a little give and take. You actually have to do some work. You can't just give it slop, because if you give it slop garbage input, it's going to give you the same type of output that makes absolutely no sense for you. So that's why I really want you to be very specific in your prompts. Again, as a reminder, the power of having this documented in this way because on your busiest weeks, you don't have to do too much thinking, okay? Because your brain is already at capacity. You just check the list. You protect your energy for the things that actually require your creative presence, which is being at the session, serving your clients, all right? So SOP number 3, your gallery delivery SOP. This is the one where I see so much inconsistency in photographers' businesses, and it matters more than people realize. So when you deliver a client gallery, your client most likely is waiting in anxious anticipation, anxious as in exciting, anxious anticipation. They're so excited about getting those pictures delivered to them. And the experience you create around that delivery is part of what determines whether they leave you a glowing review or whether they book again next year, and whether they refer other friends to you. That is not something you should wing. Your gallery delivery SOP should cover when you deliver, how you notify the client, what you say in your delivery email, what information you should include about downloading and printing the images, how long they have access to the actual gallery, and what your follow-up plan is after the gallery delivery. So here's a prompt example you can feed into AI. I am a family photographer who uses CloudSpot, PicTime, ShootProof for gallery delivery. I need a documented SOP for how I deliver galleries consistently every time. Please write this as a numbered checklist that covers the timeline for the delivery of the session, the steps to prepare the gallery for delivery, a sample gallery email that is warm and celebrates the family, instructions I should include for downloading and printing, and a note about gallery expiration for access windows. My brand voice is warm and personal, or insert your brand guide here. It would be also another good prompt for you to use. And my typical gallery turnaround time is X amount of days or X amount of weeks. So when you get this output back, you are going to pay special attention to the sample gallery delivery email, because this is the moment in your client experience that most photographers underestimate. A great delivery email doesn't just say, here's your gallery. It celebrates the family. It reminds them what a special thing they did in investing the photos. It includes a nudge towards printing those photos and booking again, giving them an incentive to book again. Now, AI will give you a skeleton, and your job is to add the warmth, is to add your personality and make it feel like it's coming from you, the family photographer. So SOP number 4 is this: your review and referral request SOP. This is the part that most photographers know they should do, but they skip because they feel annoying asking for a referral or for a review. Because asking for a review feels awkward and uncomfortable sometimes. Asking for a referral feels like, too much. They've already worked with me. I feel like I'm too much right now. So you just hope that the client remembers how much they loved your images and working with you, and that they'll refer to you. You're banking on the system of hope. Listen, I love being hopeful and I love staying joyful and upbeat, but that's not the best strategy, okay? Because sometimes your clients will leave a review and sometimes they won't. But likely your clients are also just as busy as you, so they forget and they moved on to the next thing. So a documented process, this documented SOP, removes that discomfort from you. And when asking for reviews, it's just a step in your workflow. And it feels like just like another step, another personal favor you're asking for. And it starts to feel like a natural part of wrapping up that client experience. And again, because you have this documented, because you have this templatized, hopefully it won't feel so awkward with the ask. So here's a prompt I want you to use. I am a family photographer and I need a documented SOP for how I ask clients for reviews and referrals after a session. I want this to feel natural and warm, not pushy, not salesy, and please write a numbered checklist of when and how I should make the review request. Okay, so think about the timing after gallery delivery, which platforms to direct them to, etc., etc. I want you to give me a short sample email or a text I can send requesting a Google review, and a separate message I can send to happy past clients asking them to refer a friend. My tone is, you insert your tone, warm, genuine, gentle, relationship focused. And then I would say also upload your brand book if you've created one. Now, once you have this all drafted out, I want you to do 2 things. First, adjust the timing. The sweet spot for a review request is usually right when the client receives their gallery and they are at their emotional high of seeing their photos for the first time. Not 2 weeks later, life has already moved on. Second, I want you to add a personal line that references something very specific about their session. So it was such a joy photographing your family at Radnor Lake, for example, if this was a Nashville session, because very specific liners will always outperform generic templates. So in this step, in this SOP, yes, you have a template, but then you can use this template and then add personalizations to it in your workflow whenever you send this specific email to your client. We are finally at SOP number 5, your content batching workflow. This one is less client facing and more about how you run your marketing, which I'm all about because I'm a firm believer in you having a very cohesive marketing ecosystem for your family photography business. So if you're a family photographer watching this and you feel like marketing is just one more thing you're never going to have time for, this is the SOP that is going to help you move in a more positive direction, okay? A content batching workflow is just a documented process for how you sit down, create content for multiple platforms at once, and schedule it out so you aren't scrambling every single week or creating something from scratch every single week. The goal is to go from I post when I remember and when I panic to I batch content out consistently and I market myself consistently. So here's the prompt. I am a solo family photographer who wants to create a monthly content batching workflow. I need a step-by-step SOP for how to batch my marketing content in 1 or 2 focused sessions per month. Please include what I should prepare before my batch session, the order in which I should create content, so like a blog post, an email newsletter, Instagram captions, etc. How to repurpose one long form piece of content in multiple formats, and a checklist I can use at the end of my batch session to confirm everything is scheduled. My content platforms are, and then I want you to list out your content platforms. Are they blogging, email, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, you name them. This one will need more personalization from you after AI drafts this because your specific tools matter. They matter here. They're very specific to you. If you use Flowdesk for email, Planoly, or later for Instagram, Tailwind for Pinterest, your workflow is going to look very different from somebody else who uses a different set of marketing tools. Tell AI your tools and it will adjust. But even a generic draft gives you a structure to start out with. And a structure is what most family photographers, especially solo family photographers, they're missing because they're depending on their memory. Okay, so now that I gave you those 5 prompts, I want to talk about what to do with these AI drafts because this is where most people stop. They get the draft. They feel relieved that something exists out in the world. Great. And then they save it to a folder and they never implement it. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Here is a simple 3-step process for turning any AI drafted SOP into something you will actually use. Step 1. I want you to read it out loud. Actually read it out loud. That sounds very silly and simplified, but is genuinely the best way to catch anything that sounds off-brand, that sounds too robotic, and anything that is corporate you can take out. Anything that doesn't match how you actually talk to your clients, take it out. If you wouldn't say it in a conversation, take it out or change it. Step 2, fill in your specifics. So add your actual prices, your actual platforms, your actual session types, your actual turnaround times. AI doesn't know these things unless you told it in the prompt. The more context you give AI up front, the less you have to fill it in afterwards. But that's why I had you in step 1, like talk it through out loud. And then step 2, fill in the specifics that it missed out on. Step 3, this is where you have to do work. You have to put this SOP somewhere. Put it where you actually see it. If you need to print it off, print it off. If you need to put it in your project management tool like Trello or Notion or ClickUp, put it in your project management tool. Keep in mind, I sell a project management tool board with Trello for only $7 in my shop. So if you're looking for something that will be your master business hub, there you go. I will link it below. As a reminder, the best SOP is the one you can access without hunting for it. So make sure you put it in a place that you don't have to go hunting for it. Okay, so let me come back to something that I said at the beginning of this video because I want to make sure it lands. AI is your first drafter. It is not your final voice. It's not your final voice. The photographers who are going to benefit most from AI in their business are not the ones who hand everything over to it and then hit publish. They're the ones who use AI to get a strong first draft in half the time instead of staring at a blank page for over an hour. And then they bring their own experience, their own voice, and their own client knowledge to that draft before it goes live. So it's massively saving you so much time. And for a solo business owner who is also a mom trying to shoot sessions and run a whole business in very limited hours every single week, that time saving is everything. I truly believe that you can embrace AI and you can use it very well, and it can be used very practically to help you build out a more organized and more consistent and more peaceful business on the back end without adding more hours to your work week. And that is something I care about deeply for myself. And that's what I'm really passionate about teaching other family photographers about creating better systems and workflows. So here's what I want you to do, because I bet you've listened to this, you've watched this, and you're like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm inspired, but I don't know what to do. I just want you to pick just one out of the 5 SOPs that I walked you through today, just one of them. Open up Claude, open up ChatGPT, copy the prompt framework that I shared with you, fill in your specific details, and see what you get back, okay? Then spend 15 to 20 minutes personalizing it. You are going to end that 15 to 20 minutes with something documented for your business that you probably haven't had before. It's been living in your head. It's now living in a documented process. You need to take that as a win. And if you want to take this even further and build out a consistent marketing cadence for your blog posts, I'd love for you to check out the Blogging and Visibility Toolkit. In this video, it is my $37 resource that walks you through how to build a blogging strategy that actually works for family photographers, including how to use it as the foundation for the rest of your marketing ecosystem. Check it out below. And if you enjoyed this video, if you watched all the way through, and if you're like vigorously, hurriedly taking notes and you're like, yes, I'm going to implement this, then if you are looking for more systems-focused teaching, I want to invite you back to join the Family Photographers Marketing Society. It is my monthly membership for solo family photographers who want to stop winging their marketing and they want to be very strategic with their marketing and strategic with their SEO. You can find more details in the show notes of this podcast or of this YouTube episode. Again, I will link everything in the show notes. This video was so helpful for you. Will you please go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel and share it with another family photographer who also needs help building out a better marketing ecosystem for themselves. Again, I'm Dolly DeLong, and I am so glad you watched all the way through. I will see you all next week with a brand new video. Until then, stay streamlined and magical, you amazing muggle you. Bye.